Hey guys, happy Sunday. Welcome to my YouTube channel. More schizophrenic ramblings of a raving lunatic. I love that comment. It's like one of my faves that I've gotten. Keep them coming. Hey, if you guys, if any of you guys are interested in doing a podcast with me, I'd love to do a podcast, put on this channel. Don't have a lot of viewers, but every once in a while we get a video that gets quite a few viewers. I've had podcasts where we've gotten over 1,000 viewers. Schizophrenia is a really interesting word, right? Now, let me know if you guys resonate with this, but every single person that I've ever met is living in some different version of the reality of the world that they're living in, right? So, when you have a couple of people that are resonating with each other, you see a really healthy couple. Usually it's they're grounded in the same reality, right? They're both living in kind of the same, they've come up with the schedule, right? They've come up with the way of doing things together. You don't see it very often. I have a couple family members that are like that. I didn't grow up in a family that was that way. The schedule was mostly, I'm not going to go into it, but you just learn to deal with it, right? And then learning to give love without expectation to receive, and just be thankful for what you get. You start to settle for a lot less when you start to do that, and you don't need much. I was thinking of the story of more schizophrenic ramblings for you guys. I was thinking of the story of Jesus, when he fed the multitude of, with 2 fish or a loaf of bread and 5 fish, or 2 fish and a loaf of bread. I can't remember how many it was. You guys tell me in the comments. Just imagining how that scene played out, right? He's probably walking with these people, and he probably hadn't eaten in like 10 days. He probably didn't care, right? Doesn't need to. It's just a flesh suit, right? And everybody's, oh, we're starving. And he's probably just like, all right, what do you got? Bring it to me. And it's like, here, that'll be enough. Tell everybody that I touched it. Right? So, hey, and then it was enough. Like, this is just kind of like this matrix of reality. People get really tied down. I think that this material world is like all there is, but this is just a shadow. Think of all the realities that people create in their minds before they even show up for the day. What kind of dreams do you have at night? So interesting. That last video I made when I was talking about my niece Caroline, living in her world for a little while was pretty fun. The mind of a 5-year-old. If you can become a child again, and if you can create an image in your mind, and if you can share it with the people around you, no dream can live alone. And what kind of dream would you like to live in, right? If the reality that you're living in right now is not the one that you want to live in, then how do you make that one a reality? How do you do that? Create an image in your mind, and then start traveling forward in faith that that image will manifest itself and be detached from the outcome. The reason that we're not living in a world where people are upset with each other is because people are too attached to the created reality instead of understanding that we're all just one, right? And we can create whatever we want together. But as soon as you have an attachment to how that reality is created or what the end result is, then you always fall in some kind of state of unhappiness, because now you've been having attached to some outcome that's not real. So the only way to make it real is to detach from it. And timing's everything. You can't make anything happen before it's supposed to. And the only way to do that is to detach from it. Yeah. More raving lunatics. From a raving lunatic. Hey, I would love to podcast. Yeah, if you're watching this video, if you've schizophrenia is a interesting subject, and I'd love to talk about it, because to me schizophrenia is just you're not able to communicate in a grounded way with the people that you're talking to, which happens, and I've witnessed people go through it. And I believe there's a way to heal that, but let's pull some cards, shall we? It's Sunday. What else do we have to do? I hope all you guys are doing well. The Shaman and the King of Vessels. Shaman is showing the way. You guys have a lot of love, and you're very shamanistic right now. The breath of life comes from your heart space. So if you look at this picture, breath of life is coming from the middle of that, with an arrow sticking straight up, with smoke coming out of its butt. Smoke and fire. That's interesting why that's true, right? So I was thinking about this earlier. It's very difficult to deal with three-dimensional reality, because it's where heaven and hell collide, right? You've got, on one side, you got source that moves to the created, manifested three-dimensionality, and on the other side, everything's pulling on that. So you have a pulling and a creative and a receiving force. And so on the receiving side, everything's fighting over each other to feed off of one another. On the creative side, everyone's working together to create what is being manifested by the being that's holding heaven and earth together. That's what you're doing, right? When you're creating anything, you have to, if you're doing it in the right way, you can manifest that thing in three-dimensional reality. It takes a long time to create it. If you have to be patient, especially if you have a big vision. Heaven on earth, for example, right? What is heaven on earth to you? It's where, if you can have heaven on earth, so if you can have heaven and hell collide, where it creates peace, where the lion and the lamb lay down together, we have never seen that, right? I mean, where have we seen predator and prey lay down together in peace? It has to happen internally before it can manifest in the physical. More schizophrenic ramblings of a deranged lunatic. Let's pull another card, shall we? Eight of Bows, hearth fire. We're standing around the fire. I know what this is. All of you are watching it burn. Maybe you're watching this YouTube channel and we're all watching it burn together. So, and it's funny how these cards pop out, because I was thinking about this. I mean, think about the world that we're creating, right? Think about the material things that we're creating. Almost 99% of the material things that we use on a daily basis are in some kind of destructive hierarchical model where everybody that goes to work for that system hates it. And the only way to get yourself out is to become an entrepreneur and become like a coach or a healer, try and help people and help them deal with the madness that is, right? But nobody's actually creating anything together, because nobody's in a healed enough state where they feel like they could work together in a healthy way, and there's no trust. So instead of, eventually you got to, as it burns, you got to create something new. Tree of Life, which goes right along with this. The burning bush, right? Story of Moses. The burning bush is a consuming tree that's regenerating nonstop, but it's always burning. It's always burning, but always regenerating. You can't create something new unless you destroy the old. And you'll never be able to create something new in your life until you get rid of something, you let go of something. You have to let go. Life is a process of creating and letting go, both. Because some people say it's a process of letting go, but if you let go completely, then you fall into a stagnant state where you're not creating anymore. So become the burning bush, right? Sometimes you have to, and Moses, once he saw that, that was immediately from that point, he put down the staff, and then Judgment Day. But you have to do that in your own life and let go of the things that are maybe, it's like pouring, if you're pouring water into something that's not returning anything, right, then you're kind of wasting your energy, right? It's a siphon on you. You're not creating anything. You're not putting your energy into something that's returning. You're getting a return on. That's giving you life back, right? Video games are a really common example. I mean, our whole society's pouring their energy into things like that where you're not getting much in return. And so people is where you can, put your energy in. And if you put your energy into people who aren't built that way, then, right? And all of us are ready at different times, so you can't judge. It's just, all you can do is give advice, and which is why we're watching it burn. You can talk about it. But, I mean, could create something new, right? Where we're giving and receiving love, and the things that we receive, we're not attached to, right? Where we're not attached to how it shows up, because that's the hardest thing. If you're working with somebody in the workplace and they're attached to how they receive, maybe they're putting their energy into you, and if they're attached to how you're giving it back, then invariably that relationship will destroy itself, because if you're trying, that it means you're trying to control the actions of someone else. Control. You have to completely let go of control and create. Right? Does this resonate with you guys at all? Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna call it that and pull an oracle card. I had them ready here. Well, maybe I don't. Oh, here they are. So I'll tell you guys one story, and this is something that, think about this, in perspective of what I just said. When I was younger, one of my best friends, his wife always talks about this story because she couldn't understand why I was that way. And I had gotten used to being that way from a really young age because I had a parent who was extremely unstable. And so you become very non-reactive, right? Because if you're reacting to everything, every time somebody else is reacting, I mean, it's just a shit show. Their young boy, I think he was 2. I think Chase was 2. And we were at my cousin's place, and they had a chow, and it was a pretty aggressive chow, and he was, their boy went to go pet the chow, and the chow just clonked onto his head, just teeth marks right there at the top of his head. Actually, it was right between his eyes, like right there. And everybody in the house, boom, freaking out, just losing their minds. And I never moved off the couch. I remember seeing it happen, and then I just thought about it, and I saw that he was crying. Obviously, the boy was crying, but it had already happened. There's nothing you can do about it at that point. Everybody was already circling him, so there was no way for me to do anything, right? It would be pointless for me to get up and try to do anything. And I could see that he wasn't hurt seriously. He was just very upset that he just got bit. And I mean, he got tooth marks and blood running down his forehead, but he was okay. And she looked at me and she just shook her head like, how can you just be sitting there? And I'm just like, what should I be doing? Right? Panicking is the worst thing you can do when something happens. Let's say we have some kind of world news that people go, oh my God, what are we going to do now? And just start freaking out because they're losing the handle on the world that they're used to. Panicking doesn't do anything. All you can do is keep your wits about you. Think about what you should do next. Probably make some phone calls. Say, hey, look, we're going to have to start working with the community to try and build something here. If we don't, the external control systems are falling apart, something like that. Because if you all just hide in your homes and you're afraid of anything, then it just gets worse, right? You have to think and act and give your love to the people around you and expect to receive it. You don't have to expect it. You'll get it back. Might not even be from them. Your energy is never wasted. Don't ever believe your energy is wasted. Worlds within worlds. This was at the bottom of the deck. I'm going to pull a different one. And that's what it is. We're living in worlds within worlds because everyone's reality is slightly different on the way that they see the world, usually the way they see themselves, right? We all do. And there's really nothing wrong with any of us. Be still. New chapter. So we're being still and starting a new chapter in our lives, right? The one thing that I learned from, being still, none of us know, and this is why there's so many readers on YouTube, none of us know what each other need. And so the only thing you can really do is try and listen to your intuition and try and provide something for somebody that you think they need. And your intuition will tell you whether or not you need to, what you need to say. Excuse me. And what you need to do, right? So maybe you need to go spend time with them. Maybe you need to walk away for a while. Maybe you need to say nothing at all. Maybe you need to, it's up to you. And trust your intuition. And if, keep learning about yourself. And if you feel like you made a mistake, then it's no big deal. It can be remedied. There isn't anything that can be remedied, right? Life can be easy if you make it easy. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day, and we'll catch you later.